up, guys? Welcome back to the booth. This is the Mic Check Podcast. I'm your host, T Word, the People's Champ. Thank you for joining. Today, we're going to go ahead and talk about some NFC Championship football going down this Sunday on the NFL side of things. Looking forward to a great game. But before we get into this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We do appreciate your feedback. Anything that you give us, we're using to create a better channel and continue to grow. And we appreciate everything that you give. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into some football. All right, so you've got the San Francisco 49ers visiting the Philadelphia Eagles up in Pennsylvania. And this is looking to be a pretty good game, potentially a defensive battle. However, I do expect a little bit of fireworks from at least one of the offenses. And it could be a surprise. Might be San Francisco if they get everything on the road, right? So let's talk about some statistical stuff before we get into the analysis of the game. And then we're going to give a prediction and another video on the day of the game, okay? So we've got the Eagles coming in at number 3 on offense and number 2 on defense. And the 49ers are number 5 on offense and number 1 on defense. 15 yards have separated these two teams defensively. So that tells you that both of these guys do exactly what they need to do to make it happen. Now, I do know that Christian McCaffrey is suffering from a little bit of an injury. He's a little gimpy, but he is expected to play. He's missed practice this week, but they do expect him to suit up. He looks very promising for this game. His role might be limited, but anything that he can contribute is going to offset some of the explosiveness of what Philadelphia might offer on their side of the ball. Also, Miles Sanders, I do project that he might have a big day. It's going to be interesting to see how it's going to play out. So let's start with the San Francisco side of things, and let's talk about them being number 5 in offense and number 1 on defense. What that tells me is that this team has a good bit of balance. They're top 5 in both categories, just like the Eagles, and they're the only 2 teams in the NFL to do so. So that tells me that these teams have put all the pieces together. Defensively, when you look at a linebacker like Fred Warner, it's important to have a defensive leader that can make plays, get all over the field, do things that are productive, and really put your team in the best position to win. And he's the guy that can do that. So I'm expecting him to have a really big game, especially to try and stop the run. Now, he's also pretty good in coverage. And if you're looking for a tight end, or you're looking for a lot of shallow routes to the running backs and to the tight ends and to the receivers, he's a guy that can disrupt that part of the game and make it very difficult for the Eagles to get the production they need if the run game seems to be bottled up, which is something that San Francisco actually does really well. They finished, I believe, number 1 in the league against the run. So that tells me it might be a hard time trying to run the ball, so you got to resort to the pass. And if you got a guy like Fred Warner controlling traffic over the middle, you're going to have to either use the edges or the deep shots. And depending on the weather conditions, this could become a problem for the Eagles, especially with a guy like Jalen Hurts, who isn't the best passer, but he's not the worst either. But you definitely don't want to limit his game by making him one-dimensional where he has to throw it, because that's not a good day for anybody. On the other side of it, you look at the Eagles defense, and you have to think, coming in at number 2, just 15 yards shy of the number 1 spot, they're doing some things really well too. They stop the run as needed. They don't give up a lot of first downs, and they absolutely play as a team, and their coverage is immaculate. That's something that I don't think is really there necessarily for San Francisco that Philly can actually do. So now you take a guy like Brock Purdy, if you're able to bottle up the run game just enough and you force him to throw, you could create some mistakes and then give yourself an opportunity to create turnovers that lead to scores, or get a lot of 3 and outs that are going to lead to extra possessions for your offense. I see a really great chess match that can be played here. I would say the coaching battle is near even, but I might give an advantage to San Francisco offensively, because I do like the creativity of Kyle Shanahan that might create some opportunities. And if you see a trick play early in the game, don't be surprised, because that means that he expects that his defense is going to hold serve, and he needs to get an offensive advantage because he feels a little bit undermanned. And that's also going to tell you a little bit about how the rest of the game might play out. So a lot of little mini games that are going to be played within the overall game that I think y'all should pay attention to. Watch the play calling of Kyle Shanahan early. Does he take risk? Does he go for it on 4th down? Does he run any trick plays? Those things are going to tell you exactly what he thinks about his offense's ability to get enough points to beat the Eagles and keep up pace with that explosive offense. On the other side, if the Eagles defense is opportunistic, you might see them become very conservative early in the game and just run the ball, control the clock, and get out of there with a nice, easy win. Either one of these things could play out. Would love to get your thoughts. This has been T-Word for the mic check. I'm exiting the booth. That's all the bars I got for right now. Until the next time.